The Street Christopher Air and Seaports Authority, SCASPA, is in the process of upgrading the cooling system at the RLB International Airport to commit to the overall improvement of the passenger experience. In a press release from SCASPA, it said the upgrade is timely, which includes the installation of 10 air handlers, 9 of which have already been installed, and a new condensing unit. This project commenced in May 2022 and encountered delays due to supply chain challenges. The release said that the installation of the new condensing unit, which started on the 13th of August, is underway with ongoing evaluations and inspections. During this installation period, SCASPA said it has provided a secondary air conditioning unit to assist with the cooling of the airport spaces to ensure the comfort of staff, passengers, and vendors. Safety and security measures are also in place to minimize the risk of incidents and/or breach of security during this time. The project is expected to be completed by the end of August 2022. SCASPA said it apologizes for any inconvenience caused and solicits the public's understanding and usual cooperation as it seeks to improve the overall experience at the RLB International Airport.
The first ever Caribbean region meeting on climate change concluded in the Bahamas 17th August as Caribbean heads of government prepared to present a unified front when world leaders meet at the United Nations Climate Change Conference COP27 to be hosted by Egypt in November. According to the Bahamas Prime Minister Philip Davis, the meeting explored issues related to climate change such as the need to access special financing. Barbados' Prime Minister Mia Mottley said industrialized countries need to take responsibility and to take action, especially in the areas of access to finance for climate adaptation matters.
The reality is that we are playing fast and loose with our future. For us, this is not an issue only for COP anymore. The annual meetings of the World Bank and the IMF, the G20 meetings and the G7 meetings have to take responsibility. Because fundamentally what you've heard all of the leaders speak to is the question of lack of access to finance in order to be able to finance adaptation. Mitigation can happen anywhere in the world, and we encourage mitigation and private sector activities to fuel mitigation. But the question of adaptation, who's going to get a rate of return on coastal defenses? Nobody. So governments have to do it. When Hurricane Elsa hit my country last year, 90% of the houses that were damaged belonged to people below the poverty line. 95% of them were uninsured. And we simply say that there are few mechanisms that don't cost anybody a cent. The natural disaster clauses that Barbados now uses in its bonds that we feel should be extended to pandemic clauses as well. If every country at this table and the ones who are not here had the ability to include those clauses, the lender of the money remains whole because all we do is to defer the payment of principal and interest for 2 years, and we back-end it at the end of the loan by extending it for 2 years, so that the person who is lending you the money has the ability to recover all that they expected to recover. And the one who is borrowing the money now has the fiscal space to be able to spend the money on the people who are underinsured or uninsured and below the poverty line. Now, how can a person of conscience, how can a country of conscience refuse to accept that that is a win-win situation for everyone? And that is what concerns us.
Motley believes there is an expressed arrogance among industrialized nations that de-emphasize the impact of climate migration and other related hazards. The meeting was attended also by major financial institutions of the Caribbean region as CARICOM moves to finalize its unified presentation for COP27. Glenn Barth reporting for SKN Newsline.
The SKN Newsline newscast is brought to you by Smart Electronics, the way to live a smart life, and Tiranga Restaurant for the finest in Indian cuisine. Excellent Indian cuisine, fine dining. It's Tiranga Restaurant at the Royal St. Kitts Plaza in Frigate Bay. Tiranga offers the authentic flavors of Indian cuisine in a warmly adorned 150-seat restaurant. Named after the tricolor flag of India, Tiranga comprises of traditional and regional-inspired Indian cuisine. The restaurant offers a sophisticated fine dining experience with a charming staff, discreet service, and tantalizing food that few can compete with. Call 662-5846 or visit tirangastkits.com. Tiranga Restaurant, a taste of authentic India.
Smart and Island Electronics brings to you the Super Summer Kulong Sale from July 21st until October 30th. Get amazing discounts on the widest range of gadgets, electronics and appliances. But because it's summer, you get double discounts on hall fans, refrigerators and air conditioners. And don't forget to ask about our easy layaway plans. Good news for the people of Neves. Smart Electronics is coming to Neves at a convenient location just opposite Best Buy. So visit our stores at Smart Electronics on Port Zonte and Island Electronics on 4th Street. Terms and conditions apply. Our COVID-19 protocols will be observed.
When visiting St. Martin, you want clean, affordable accommodations. You need Midtown Motel in the heart of Phillipsburg, a place where you can relax, take a stroll on Great Bay Beach, and that provides you easy access to great shopping. Midtown Motel, located on Front Street, Phillipsburg, St. Martin. Call Midtown Motel at 721-542-0614 and book your stay today.
The SKN Newsline website now offers you more news. Log on to www.sknnewsline.com for local, regional, and international news. You can also watch the latest newscast and keep abreast with news in sports, all from sknnewsline.com. That's www.sknnewsline.com. News at your fingertips. Nestled between evergreen mountains and the Caribbean Sea on the island of St. Kitts is the Millhouse Guest House and Convention Center. With breathtaking views, a rugged, beautiful shoreline, and immaculate manicured gardens make this the perfect location for your holiday, event, or wedding. With a large convention center, apartments with balconies providing stunning views, and a secluded cottage for larger family groups or honeymooning couples looking for some privacy. We have something for everyone. Book your stay at www.millhouseskn.com or visit our Facebook page, the Millhouse Guest House and Convention Center, an oasis of tranquility.
Several road projects are being done on Nevis, and the Minister of Public Works in the Nevis Island Administration, Elton Brand, is expressing satisfaction at progress. Minister Brand expressed gratitude to residents of Butlers for their patience with the road works in the community. Jevon Williams, Director of the Public Works Department on Nevis, provided an update recently on the works in Butlers.
We have already completed the first layer of asphalt on Siston Road. That was the first road that we undertook on this project. That's about 1,900 feet of road. We also undertook directly behind me this road known as the Range Road. That's approximately 1,800 feet of road. And right now we're standing at the intersection of Range Road and the main Butler's Carriageway Road. For this road goes from what the residents and people familiar with this area would know as the Domino College, and goes all the way down to the intersection by Esme Shop. We would have completed the first layer of asphalt, and I would say approximately 2/3 of this road. And so we have approximately about 1,000 feet more to go. That is from the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Mannings down to Esme Shop. In the near future, we have already started excavations on the side for widening, and we would proceed with excavation of the road, putting in the curbs, putting in the walls to finish the first layer of asphalt for this road in Butlers.
Minister Brand said he is pleased with the progress made thus far.
I am indeed very much encouraged and satisfied with the progress that we have made thus far. It has been a project where we have seen major improvement with the water infrastructure here on this project. We have also seen major upgrade by the Nevis Electricity Company Limited and the various telecommunications companies to the area of Butlers. We have seen significant upgrade to drainage, sidewalks, and also we have seen major upgrades to persons' property fencing. So all in all, I think that we have seen the transformation here in Butlers. This was a project that is being undertook by the Navy's Public Works Department. And I want to thank the director, Jevon Williams, and also the on-site supervisor, Mr. Mintus, for having direct oversight of this project.
Meanwhile, updates were provided on road works in Church Ground.
There was a section of the culvert on the western side with the retaining wall where it had a mango tree where there was some undermining that had taken place that had created a dangerous condition for this roadway. Not only here, but there were some other culverts that we had looked at. There was one in the bottom of Hickman's, that bypass road between Hickman's and Zion, that we did some repair work on last year. In our planning for 2022, this section here in Church Ground was on high priority for us. We wanted to get this section repaired, and it was a safety hazard for the people who are walking and driving along this road. This project, though short, entailed a whole scope of works, a range of works that was undertaken here. We are nearing completion. The asphalt work was done just prior to Culturama, and now we are just erecting the safety banisters along the retaining wall to protect against traffic as a protective barrier. Once that is finished, we'll do some backfilling, some cleanup, some landscaping, and that will bring the project to full completion.
I want to thank the Public Works Department for overseeing this project and executing this project, because I believe that the quality of work that we are seeing here is comparable anywhere. I particularly also want to thank the residents of this area who were directly affected by the work, especially the Clark family immediately on the west of this project. They would have endured the dust and the noise and the inconvenience. And I really want to say a hearty thank you to them on behalf of the Cabinet of Ministers and certainly on behalf of all the people of Nevis for their patience and their understanding.
The road rehabilitation work in Butlers began on June 8, 2021.
After nearly 40 years of political independence, another call is being made for a change in the constitution of St. Kitts and Nevis. Two socially active citizens of the Federation, Ras Iroy and Ras Marcus, believe that the political structure should ensure that all persons who win their seats in a federal election should be members of the cabinet. Both were guests of the On-the-Mark call-in show aired on One Radio 17th August. With the newly SKN-LP-led federal government in place, the talk of constitutional change is again on the agenda.
I believe everybody who contests a seat and wins should be a part of a government. I don't like party politics. Three you run in St. James, whoever win, they're waiting for the rest people to join. Whoever wins a seat is who the people want to represent them. So these are the people who should sit in government. There should be no government in St. Kitts Nevis as a federal government that does not automatically have Nevis representation. That should be straight out. That should be understood. Is it the constitution that we have to fix? Then it must be fixed. We cannot continue this kind of political arrangement because it is not healthy for the federation. You know, and I'm hoping that at this time, and what Stanley used to say at this juncture, you know, we could come up with a different mindset and realize a lot of things that we were doing in the past is really not going to work, and it hasn't been working in our benefit. You know, Gio said it. The vision that I find within our people, a lot of it is strictly based on politics.
Mm-hmm. During the campaign, the SKN-LP, PAM, and CCM indicated to the media the need for constitutional change that will enhance the future prospects of the Federation. Glenn Bart reporting for SKN Newsline.
When visiting St. Martin, you want clean, affordable accommodations. You need Midtown Motel in the heart of Phillipsburg, a place where you can relax, take a stroll on Great Bay Beach, and that provides you easy access to great shopping. Midtown Motel, located on Front Street, Phillipsburg, St. Martin. Call Midtown Motel at 721-542-0614 and book your stay today.
The SKN Newsline website now offers you more news. Log on to www.sknnewsline.com for local, regional, and international news. You can also watch the latest newscast and keep abreast with news in sports, all from sknnewsline.com. That's www.sknnewsline.com. News at your fingertips.
Online radio has never been this great. It's Voice of the Caribbean Radio at voiceofthecaribbean.net. Tune into Voice of the Caribbean Radio for great Caribbean programs, news, entertainment, sports, and current affairs. Wake up each morning and be inspired with One Day at a Time with Kim Huey. Stay abreast with news across the Caribbean and internationally with the Caribbean News Hour, and be entertained with shows like Reggaeville, Caribbean Classics, and Jive Music Show. Visit our website, download our Android mobile app, or listen us on TuneIn Radio. There is so much more on Voice of the Caribbean Radio, reaching the Caribbean and beyond. Check website or app for program schedule.
Are you ready to create high-performing TV commercials?
Ready.
Ready. Ready. Create and tell compelling stories. Reach your target audience. And build brand awareness. Our strategies and execution will provide for your desired outcome and clearly represent your brand. Visit us at www.madebyopen.com and get started on your creative video commercial today. Lights, camera, Open Interactive.
Auto Plus Car Wash, located on the College Street Gut, Bastyr, St. Kitts. Bring your car to Auto Plus Car Wash to remove water stains, wiper marks. Get your doors, roof panel cleaned, seat floor mats, buffing, headlights, and engine wash. You get quality service at the best price at Auto Plus Car Wash. They really care for your car. Call 765-5140 or visit them on the College Street Gut, Bastyr, St. Kitts. Auto Plus Car Wash, where the service is number one.
Can you believe all the ings we can fit under one roof? We're here to help your small business any way we can.
Grenada's former Environment Minister Simon Steele was named on Monday as the new UN Climate Change Chief, replacing Patricia Espinosa of Mexico. The appointment of the longtime advocate for climate action was approved by the UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, under which all climate negotiations are held, including the Paris Agreement. Steele will take up the position shortly, said a spokesman for UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres, suggesting he will be in office for the next UN Climate Conference, the COP27, in Egypt in November. A member of government from 2013 until June, Steele has served as Minister of Environment and Climate Resilience for the last 5 years, calling relentlessly during COP summits for more progress in the fight against global warming. Guterres' office called Steele, who trained as an engineer, a true champion for formulating creative approaches to our collective global responses to the climate crisis, and said he brings unique skills honed over a 30-year career. He will replace Espinosa, who has served 2 terms as head of the UNFCCC from 2016 until July. Until Steele steps into the post, Mauritian Abraham Tau remains in place as interim head of the UN Climate Change, in addition to his duties as leader of the UN agency that combats desertification. Cherian Blackman-Stephen, GBN News.
And on the issue of jobs, one business leader is reiterating his concern about the state of the local labor market. John Mahfood said if there's not an increase in skilled workers soon, Jamaica's growth rate could slow down next year and in the years to come.
If this problem is not addressed by the government, it will damage our ability to grow in 2023, 2024, moving forward.
Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association JMEA President John Mahfood with a warning that is likely to trigger alarm bells for policymakers. The local labor market is facing a serious shortage, especially of skilled workers, and it could negatively impact the country's economic outlook. The business leader gave an example of one business that is short nearly 1,000 workers.
We are hearing about this from all sectors, including the BPO, tourism, manufacturing, and general services. This even goes to the extent of Kentucky Fried Chicken, where they were short 800 employees and had to start a TV campaign to try and encourage people to apply.
Mr. Mahfood acknowledged the pandemic was partly to blame for the weaknesses of some Jamaican workers. Many of the present workers were students just over 2 years ago who grappled with learning loss and never became job market ready. He said he has seen firsthand the negative impact of the 2-year disruption at a primary school in the inner city where he serves as board chairman. It is why he's fearful the damage done to the students due to the disruption could haunt Jamaica in the next few years.
So you can imagine that 2.5-year gap going through the system, through high school, and for those kids to be turning into potential employees. This has far-reaching impact both on our children themselves, but also on our economic development and crime.
The JMEA president is therefore asking for state intervention to build the capacity of Jamaican workers. In the meantime, Mr. Mahfood said the situation around inflation is improving.
Things have improved a lot recently in terms of raw materials and packaging availability, but we're not out of the woods.
He was speaking in St. James Wednesday at the media launch of the Montego Bay Chamber of Commerce Expo. Dwayne Anderson, TVJ News.
Ken, first to you, I want to talk about former Trump Organization CFO Alan Weisselberg just officially pleading guilty to the charges against him. What happened in court and what happens for him next?
Well, he's going to serve 5 months at Rikers Island Jail in New York City, Lindsay, according to the reporting notes we're getting from our colleague Tom Winter, who was in the courtroom. So he's pleading guilty essentially to 15 counts involving dodging taxes on lavish fringe benefits that were paid to him, including the lease of a car, private school tuition for his grandchildren, a luxury apartment, stuff that the government said was actually compensation, should have been taxed, was not taxed. So he has agreed to serve this sentence and to testify against the Trump Organization when that company, not former President Trump, but the company goes on trial. And but he has not agreed to testify in any capacity against the former president himself, who's not charged in this case. And for that reason, a lot of people are looking at this as sort of a victory for Donald Trump. His longtime money man, who knows all his secrets, is willing to plead guilty to a felony and go to jail, but not willing to testify against his former boss, Lindsay.
And I want to go into what that means for the Trump Organization in a little bit. But first, let's go to NBC's Tom Winter, who was inside the courthouse, is now outside. Tom, Ken just set it up for us, but talk to us about the mood inside the court and the significance of the moment.
Right. So, I mean, I think first off, it was very somber. And for Alan Weisselberg, he answered the questions in a very muted voice. It was frankly very difficult to hear him. And I was only about 10 or 12 rows behind him in court. He came in. The judge started the proceeding on time, approximately 10:01 this morning. It lasted for less than an hour. And the judge went through count by count and listed all the things that were included in the indictment that Ken has already touched on. We're talking about payments for multiple Mercedes-Benz vehicles. We're talking about an apartment in New York City, a garage for those vehicles, talking even about cash payments that were used for his grandchildren's private tuition. He agreed to all of the conduct, as Ken laid out for us. He does agree to testify against the Trump Organization in an upcoming trial. No sentencing date has been set, but for the 74-year-old who had his birthday just this week, earlier this week, in fact, 5 months in jail, probably a little bit less than that. They'll probably give him time off for good behavior, but 5 months in jail at Rikers Island, not something he is probably looking forward to. No indication at all that he will testify or provide any sort of ongoing cooperation against the former President Donald Trump personally. He will, as we mentioned, testify against the corporation and admitted to behavior that he conducted with an unindicted co-conspirator who's been named now publicly in Jeffrey McConney, who was somebody who was the senior vice president and controller of the Trump Organization. So today, all the conduct that came out in an indictment approximately a year ago when he was indicted last summer has now been agreed to and pleaded guilty to by Alan Weisselberg, the organization's former chief financial officer, and as Ken said, Donald Trump's effective money man for the last 15 years or so.
The busy summer for Jamaica's youth cricketers continues, with the under-15 squad departing the island on Wednesday for Grenada to take part in the regional tournament. Renata Brown reports.
A visit to Sabina Park on Tuesday afternoon presented the final opportunity to see the 14-member squad selected to take part in the Cricket West Indies under-15 tournament, which will be held in Grenada starting in another few days. The team went through some fielding drills, and comments from Captain Nicolai McKenzie revealed why.
I think the fielding, we need to work on the fielding a bit more. The fielding is not 100 right now, but if we continue to work hard, we can get the fielding up to 100.
Philip Service is the head coach of the team.
You know, they have worked hard, and certainly I am personally optimistic about their performance in the tournament. At the end of the day, they still have to get it together. But the good thing, I think that it's a united bunch of youngsters. They have learned a lot during the tournament, and no doubt they will continue to learn even in the tournament.
Along with a couple of practice games, players also had the opportunity of playing in a competition before leaving.
Well, a couple of them played in the first 2 rounds of the Kingston Wolf. They didn't play yesterday because they would have reported back to camp. And they did fairly well, the majority of them. It was important for us to have them playing in the Kingston Wolves. And in addition to that, they also had some practice games while we had the camp going, and the performance was, I would say, fairly good. It is basically what they are at a good place now, and it's just a matter of now if we are able to prepare them mentally to be able to put it together in the tournament.
One such player is fast bowler Joel Williams, who at 6'4" stands tall above the rest of the squad, which could be an asset with the ball.
That's my job as a fast bowler. If I get the new ball, there are a lot of quality fast bowlers here. But if the captain decides that Joel is here to get the new ball, I expect to go out there, cause some problems, and let the slip card happy, you know.
Delivering a regional title at any level has been an issue for Jamaica's male cricketers, and the coach is tempering expectations surrounding this team.
I know the Jamaican public likes to collect hardware and so on, and to that extent, as you correctly say, they might be a little bit impatient. But let me tell you something. Development is not just about winning trophies. Development is about preparing our players technically, tactically. It's also about preparing them for life. So, you know, yes, we all want to win trophies, and certainly I look forward to the day when we can actually carry one home. But at the end of the day, let us look at the overall development of the players.
Renata Brown for TVJ Sports.
Welcome to the SKN Newsline Weather Report. I am Janil Boone. Here is a look at the forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. more detailed weather report, visit our website at www.sknnewsline.com.